you know, yourself and Jerry, like, I think you're the first ones that nailed this song, you know, got it down to a T, you know.
Did we though? Because there was a few points. I was definitely bluffing, but I had to act like I knew what I was talking about because McBride was he knew he hadn't a fucking clue what was going on.
But no, you definitely you were looking at the two sides of every part. There was two ways of explaining each part, which I have to say it one way or the other. You got it right through. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember the party hats one that was a shot in the dark. I was gone.
Yeah. That's but you're right, 100% right. Which a lot of people are confused.
I can tell you now. The amount I knew had a lot of like blue collar kind of agricultural lads listen to this podcast. Well, I properly knew after the episode with Hit The Diff, because Jesus Christ, I must have had 45 fellas in the first day going, I think you'll find never have I gotten such a response of opinions on that song.
Yeah, I'd say not. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Good. Because it seems to kind of resonate with you. Covered every base with it, didn't you?
Well, I think so. There was a lot of angles covered in that. Yeah, there was a lot of angles. It for 3 minutes it talks about a lot, you know.
Yeah. And that was, I didn't expect. Yeah, 2.5 hours our podcast ended up going.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's some length. Yeah. Brilliant.
When you think about it, you're going, well, what can you talk about in a 3-minute song? Like, you know what I mean? But it's, you know, but turns out you can talk a lot.
Oh, yeah, because what you were hitting on there is exactly the truth. What you hit on is what the angle I was trying to get with writing the song. I was trying to get the message home about what kind of a you know, what exactly goes on in the agricultural business, you know. And most presenters just thought they don't get their heads around what's going on. You know, they just know this song's been listened to and that, but there's a bigger story to it. There's a bigger story. There's a big depth to it. You know what I mean? Of exactly when you're in that business, it's another level. Like, you know, it's the closest thing to military you could get. You know,
isn't it? Like I was trying to explain, get that across to McBride like that. It's almost a religion when it comes to this level.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, it is. It's another level, yeah.
I was genuine. The lad I know, he was saying, like, he's driving diggers since he was, you know, since he couldn't properly be able to drive diggers. But he was saying, like, if I won the lotto in the morning, man, I'd be still doing this. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just the only difference is he'd be just all new machines. Like, that's the only difference. Yeah.
I couldn't, because when I was putting it across, I was trying to think, who did I know? Because you truck more than anything else, do you?
No, not really. Like I started at 10 years of age driving, you know, nearly every weekend, you know. but I started off with the tractors, you know, and then it moved to the diggers but while it was starting to drive tractors, the yard was always full of diggers and trucks, you know. So I was still driving them in the yard, but as I got older and actually the trucking and that, it was pretty much full-time trucking, and it was full-time driving the digger, and then it was silage. So the whole mold lifting stone building, like it all did come from every hour you were something different. It was like you know, come off that, you'll go to that. You'll come off that, you'll go to that. It practically was just, there was not much working on. It was like they didn't really weigh us on you know. So it was that's exactly. So the trucking thing and the diggers and the tractor was all very equal, you know. I just moved about from one to the other, you know.
But that's the same lad that I was talking about. I can think of 3 or 4 fellas, and they'd be more than happy to spend a day in the digger. Then they'd take the truck then to go dropping machines with a low loader, different sites.
Oh yeah. It's like there's a saying in the agricultural business: a change is as good as the rest.
Yeah,
a change is as good as the rest. You know what I mean? And that is true. Like. You spend 3 weeks driving a digger and you're asked to go on the truck for a day. It's like a holiday. It's like, class. It's like I can stop at the shop, any shop, doesn't matter. You know, it's a holiday. It's like I can go, you know, I can start when I want, quit, you know. So it is like it is good to be fit to change about, which that's the addiction of the job. You know, you can move about. You know.
Yeah, I was thinking it could we do a follow up? Well, even could we crowbar in more stuff? Because even McBride was gone. Because he's ridiculous ideas, man. He writes for Waterford Whispers, and he's even back the next day going, I reckon we could do another 2 hours on that song. I swear to God.
Deadly, yeah.
It was like, we could go deeper, way deeper, man.
Yeah,
This is like, you know, it's maybe we could, would Marty be upset if we tried writing our own version? I said, well, Marty probably laugh at us, the two of us trying to sing for starters. But, but the suggestions coming off, lads, like they were, and what I now get inundated with all the last week is lads sending me songs, like, of lads who've kind of ripped you off a small bit in fairness. Do you know, like, they're just picking any rudimentary thing around the yard. They're going, I'm going to sing about that shovel. Yeah. And I'm You're going.
Well, and the funny thing of it is, Hit the Diff it's known as a farming song, right? But there's a big thing happening here that a lot of people don't really get. So other people try to copy sort of with the Hit the Diff team, and they'll talk about cattle and wellies and baler twine howling on your coat and all this old fashioned, right? But here's the thing, I wrote it because I was in the agricultural contracting business, not farming as such. I was on farms, but it was agricultural, right? But the drivers, it's nearly like the agricultural drivers are like, it's like the lorry tangs, you know, the tangs that drives lorries, like it's a different level. It's not trucking, it's not farming, it's in between the two. It's like a trucker farmer, if you don't get it. It's like so an awful lot of people try to rip it off, but they don't actually get there was another niche in there of drivers. It's like hardcore, round the clock, don't stop. It's like you're not stopping to feed cattle or to look after cattle. You might be drawing stuff to the cattle but it's all driving. It's driving. You know what I mean? It's really, really hardcore driving, you know. So I think a lot of people ripping off the songs don't really get that, you know. There is another niche in there that's not farming or not trucking, you know.
And I didn't realize I knew as much as I did, even like
I was impressed, yeah.
My old childhood come back, and like still to this day, people get shocked that I'm a culture, like, because of the characters I played in TV shows and stuff like that. They go, but hardcore to the death, like, and even like I said it to a couple of lads, and they were going, could there be a more agricultural podcast in the world right now? Tom O'Mahony talking to Marty Mone.
Deadly, yeah. But you definitely know your stuff. There's no one else has explained it, because you were talking about the passion. You know, it's like it's come out of the road, like, this is, you know, and no one gets that, you know. It's hardcore. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, weddings not going to be there, like, you know, birthday parties not about, you know. It's just like, that's it, I'm not about, you know.
every year, I swear to God, we're just out in Wicklow now, and there's fields all around us, but every year there's this pang of jealousy comes over me as soon as, and you can hear them coming in, like harvesters coming in 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And you know that sound, you'll hear it 5 miles away if you know what you're listening. That sound, you're like, oh man. Oh man. I'd love to be up on that now.
Yeah, exactly. And the smell of the grass, you know, there's something with that smell of grass, you know what I mean? But and each machine, you know, I was brought up, say, with the single chop and double chop having it, but there was a smell when the tractor would come into the yard at night. Even when I was younger, you'd go into the shed where the tractor be parked, you know, when I was very young, you know, barely fit to walk, and you go in, and I can still smell that the tractor be sitting there with the wheels all clean from the grass and the grips have just a bit of dust on them, and there was this smell of the tractor after a day's cutting, and I swear to God, it's different than even the new self-propels, you know. It was that. There's so much to it that a lot of people don't understand, that when it comes back to your mind, you're like, that smell, you know.
Well, you can, because even there was a lad now, he must be only getting the very last of it. It was across the way, and it was an older tractor. Now I could smell from 300 yards away. This is unreal. I cannot. It's like a fucking therapy session or something. But
exactly.
I can only relate now that you said it. It's like almost hot hydraulic oil or something mixed with.
Mixed with the and you see grass cut straight from the ground. I think it's the soil. There's actually a smell of soil in it. You know, the grass be ripped from the ground. It's like pulling the grass as well as cutting it. And there's a smell of the hydraulic oil, the grass, and then also clay. That's like the fresh clay that's sort of been ripped, and the grips of the tractor and all. And it's a mix. It's a very, very rare smell, but it is, you know, you'll get it a lot of times more and more. Whereas now these days the big harvest is tethered out. It's all dried up before the harvest. It gets to it a lot of times, but when it's freshly cut, it is just that smell is unreal, you know.
Man,
so, yeah.
there's lads listen to this. Will be listening to this, going, "Oh Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to pull over. I can't."
Yeah, exactly.
This is pornography for some.
I'm going to have to go home and mow the lawn. The grass is finished, but the lawn is still mow the lawn, you know.
Fucking, I'd cut my hair, anything at the minute. Jesus, just.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, just the sound of even a set of hair clip trimmers. Yeah.
Had you any idea it was going to get as explode? I mean, you knew it was going to be catchy, obviously. Like, but did you?
No, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't. You know, I was driving. I write better when I'm driving. You know, and I suppose there's hours inside a wee cab. But,
same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. But I remember I come up the line. Give me a yogurt with plenty of poke and a can of Easy Start. That was the line. I was like, there you have it. There, that's. And I had a picture of it, like a diesel 20 or something coming out of the 16-foot cane trail or something on it. You know what I mean? That was in my head. You know, I says this would be good crack. I'll write a song around this. It'd be good crack for a couple of days with the lads. You know, around locally, like 10 mile down the road job. I says, but at the same time, I was building a wee studio, and at the same time, there's something in the back of my head goes, this could do something. But naturally, not thinking it would, I goes, it'll be a bit of crack, do it anyway. But it's still, I knew there might be a bit of a catch. I didn't really know the power of the internet at the time, so I didn't really think, it was gonna, it's only after Hit the Diff I realized how powerful the internet was, But so the next thing I come up with this idea, then I was mowing a field of silage, and then I come up with the part, Hit the Diff and pray that she goes all the way, so that's the chorus, right? So I was like, okay, just that'll go. Then I was actually spreading slurry one day, and I come up with this other idea. I can picture the fields where I was, I can picture the gate lanes and the whole lot, and I come up with this other idea for a song, which was mowing, lifting, sowing, baling, drawing. And I was like, Jesus, them's too good angles. Like, I says that, then this, now I'm stuck, now which way do I go, So I come home and was building away at the studio and cutting and banging and hammering and making this studio. And I sit down and I'm starting to do the thing, and I goes to myself, what will I do here? Which song? I goes, is there any chance, I wonder, that I could gel the two together to make one song? So this is why the song's so really kind of, it's basically two choruses gel together. It goes on for a long time, the chorus of the song. And so basically I started to come up. So it's kind of like a wee rap thing, mowing, lifting, and so, and then it goes into the, So I goes, that never worked. Like, is it country? What is this? What am I writing here? Is it a country song? Is it a, So I ended up putting the two together, and next thing, that was it. That was the song Hit the Diff. The two songs became one, which give it the power. I have to say, it was better than separating them, Yeah. So that was it then, yeah.
Because we talked about other people having a go of it, and it's just not the same. It's like, it's just not the same.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's one of them songs you really need to know what you're talking about when you're saying the words, Or it's the accent as well, like from being from Monaghan, or as I would say, Monaghan.
Yeah.
But Monaghan, it's one of these things where I think the accent sort of suits it, it sort of suits whatever way I'm singing it. People do say that I sort of sing with my accent, you know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah, because people don't. They take on this American thing, like it's...
Yeah. So I sort of sing the way I speak, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of, so I think that like, there's different versions out there, but the way the words were said, there's actually a lot of versions of it, but the way the words were said just wasn't right,
Yeah, exactly. You actually, some of the words actually could be phonetically written down in your accent, and somebody's trying to it just doesn't sit right with me.
Yes. See, there's a thing in music that people don't understand. Like, if you're a carpenter and you're going to hang a door, right? Well, the door has to fit. You can't have the door not closing. It has to be right. There's a certain rule in certain jobs. Music, in the words of writing songs, there is no rules. If you have to drop a letter, add in a letter to make it fit to rhyme, you do not stick to rules. There is rules to a point, but no one can say that doesn't work. If it works, if it sounds good, it's right. If it sounds right, it is right. That's it. Doesn't matter about whether it's in the dictionary that way, or it doesn't matter. You can break every rule in the English language once you start doing that. You know what I mean? That's what I love about it. There's no rules,
Because it's almost when we were looking at it, like, and this is where McBride was going, I think there's another 2 hours, but
Yeah.
Because a lot of your other songs are songs, but that breaches into kind of country rap, almost like Bubba Sparks. Have you ever come across Bubba Sparks?
No, I don't think so. No, right.
After this, go have a look at Bubba
Right,
Sparks.
okay.
And just maybe a song called Country Folk by Bubba Sparks.
Right.
And straight away, you'll go,
yeah.
It is, and he's a fucking multimillionaire artist.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, it breaches both sides of it. Because, like fellas be singing about, the pickup truck and the wife leaving them and stuff. Whereas Hit the Diff, straight out the gate, is like, I can relate to at least 20% of that, for most parts.
Yeah. Well, Hit the Diff is kind of, if she wants to leave, she can leave, but I ain't coming back. I'm not finished this job, We'll talk about it when we get home,
Wait, and did you start music early then? Or what way did music come about for you?
So I started, it was actually when I was 10 years of age. There was a friend of mine beside, he's actually older than me, but it was across the fields, and I hear this massive guitar playing, And I said, I didn't know what it was at the time, but I went across, my father was doing building work out at the time, and next thing, one of them said, "Oh, that's electric guitar," and I was like, "Electric guitar? What's electric guitar?" I was only about 9 or 10. How's the guitar electric? Why would you plug it in? Not knowing anything about amps. And next thing I seen him playing all these lead solos and all. And I went, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. 10 years of age, that's it. So I said I was going to drive lorries, digging and guitar, music, singing, all that. And it was actually more in guitar and then I don't know where along the line I started to write songs. I was writing songs for years, but I don't really remember the first song. I don't really remember how that happened. But then I got into lead singing in bands. So in the middle of all this contracting, which was double hardcore as opposed to the point where I was gigging every weekend, and I was in the bands from 15, and I was working full time from 15. So basically, from 15 right up to I was about 32, and if I hit the diff, it was nighttime on the road, and day and night on the tractor during the week. Weekends on the road. With the band, and it was pretty. It was 7 days a week in the summer. Man, Jesus, it was tough. But it was good.
I have pictures because I remember years ago working in a pub down in Cork. It was just, again, double job, and I was working at a building site and then working at a pub. But there were wild savages that would only come to town at the weekend.
Yeah,
but lads would pull up to the pub. In the tractor, you know what I mean? And they'd get down to be a smell of diesel off them. And the tractor wasn't moving you know what I mean? It wasn't budging. But these lads, I was going, where did these fuckers come out? They hadn't seen the light of day. All week. They were into check in over the counter. Cash that for me, please.
Yes. Oh, that's it. And what kept you going was that whole week. You remember you're in that cab for all around the clock, 16 hours a day, and you're thinking of that blowout. I would say that Saturday night or in 2 weeks' time. And the thing about people used to always say there's great money in drawing silage. There wasn't great money in it. It was the fact they hadn't time to spend it.
Yeah, it's like being at sea.
Yeah. So it left it. Then when the summer was over, every note that you earned was in your pocket. It was ready for But that's what kept you going. Was that the weekend and. Well, when I was driving, you see, there was no phone. So you'd meet someone, say during the week you went to somebody's house and somebody goes, "Oh, we're going to such a place the weekend." That was it. He said that on the Monday evening. All week, that was in your head. Saturday night, that's where we're heading, or Sunday morning, we're heading. And it kept you going the whole week, we're going out, it's going to be a good night, And that was the way it was, whereas it's a kind of, these days is different. People's changing direction every half hour,
I know, yeah. I knew a fella, I was trying to think, I worked for a construction company one time. We were building golf courses, and we had a lad. His job was just on the low loader non-stop, because we had jobs in the UK as well, so he never came out of the truck. But to say that he loved it, he didn't care about the weather, he didn't care about the news, politics, nothing. But
yes.
If he got a new and brand new newt boom on the back, he didn't give a shit. Everything. And he had the jacket, he had a tattoo, up 3 steps to heaven, you name it, never late in the V8, all that stuff. But he was he probably still is worth a fortune, because again, he would only just about stop for the grub, on again, onto the boat, constantly running for the boat with diggers and buckets and all sorts. But he built a house. I remember, I'll never forget this. He built a house down at home, somewhere in Cork, and apparently he struggled to sleep in the house for the first month.
I'd well believe it.
He said the first couple of weeks, he said, I'd be inside, house finished out, Now, he was there by himself or whatever, and he'd go into the bed, be in the bed an hour. Nah, fuck this. Out to the cab.
yeah. I did hear the story where a fella drawn with a fridge, and I'd say this just happened, but he got a recording of the fridge put into the room on a tape recorder on a CD player, so that when he went to sleep, he could hear the fridge. You could hear the fridge running on the trailer, like, so the fridge would cut in and out in this CD, like the lorry, so that it would trick him into thinking he was, he couldn't go to. It was too quiet, So so that's the kind of, that's the way the body adapts, and when it adapts that level, that's you can't move. Like, that's the way it is, That's mad, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Like, people don't get it, and I know you were saying other presenters and stuff like that just didn't get the song, but when you meet and work with fellas like that, you go, all right, now. And he was, and I would not be forgiven. A mate of mine, Paul Crowley, he's a comedian, but he's a trucker as well. Yeah, so he had to stop the intercontinental stuff because he's like I think he was on the podcast, and one of his last stories that basically he was off to Italy or Spain, and he put bunking with a lad from the same company who didn't know or whatever, and your man had a shower, and he said Paul is just one of those immaculate fellas. The truck, the truck would be immaculate. Yes. But your man comes out, and it was like, do you ever see that ad years ago of the fella? I don't know, was it from Meteor or something? Your man comes out of the shower into the dressing rooms, arse naked, yeah. Man's a big old unit just drying himself, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Paul," and he's like, and he says, "I loved it, but that was the breaking point for me." But he put me on to the Superhamptons. Are you a Superhamptons wearer?
Yes, the Superhampton boot. Yeah.
I didn't. Really, this is a.
Yeah, see, and there's a big cross there too. The Superhampton. It's like it all look. There's also many different makes of boots that kind of look the same, but the Superhampton is like the whole trucking, and then the same kind of a boot or the same looking kind of a boot. I'm not even sure of all the makes and names, but then it's like a dealer boot when it goes to the cattle. It's like the dealer boot. If you're going, so it's the same looking kind of a boot, was called the dealer boot. Which is kind of did all pass for the man. But the Superhampton, like you say to a trucker, like I'm wearing boots like a lot of times now. They're not Superhamptons, but they're the same basic shape. The same looking boot. But oh no, and they tell me they're not impressed. Like no. They come up and it's not the real Mackay. Like no, it's not good. Like So you're told about it, like, and you're told to get it sorted out. Man, get the real thing.
I love that. So, like, you're their representative, like.
Yeah, it's like, freaking hell, come on now, so if you pull in the lorry, it's like, no, you have to get the right boots, like, you can't be half doing this job, but it's like, so then when it comes to so a lot of the tractor drivers, the dealer boots, going loads of cattle and drawing loads of cattle, say, with tractors and that, and these dealer boots, they'd be around the marts and that, so they're all the whole thing's all crossed, the dealers, the cattle, the trucks, so most truckers started off driving tractors, like it's like, that's where it starts, and then it moves into the trucks. But it's all the same thing. Drawing sailors around the clock or driving a truck back and forth to England or continent or whatever. It's all the same thing. It's like, keep it going. How long can you keep it going? And don't stop unless you really have to stop. So it's that's basically the main rule.
I love that the notion like that fellas are pulling you up on your boots, going, here, listen.
Oh yeah.
We bought into you, Marty, and this is what what you're doing to us.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. So like when you go to a truck show with the truck, and there was this young lad come up one day and he hit the side pipes. So these side pipes on it, you want a converter box that goes from the normal exhaust to the side pipes that makes the loud noise, and next thing, the wee lad comes up and kicks them, and he just goes, "What are you doing with them old fake side pipes, not yo?" And you have to go and show him, So you go and show him and say, "Well, listen, this is genuine, They're, that's all right then. They're all right, letting you away with it. That's okay." And that's it. Like, but if you'd fake side pipes on it, that'd be it. Like, out the gap, gone. Not listening to that anymore. So that's why you have to be careful when it comes to your fan base. And like, I understand, because when I was younger, they want real, and that's it. And like, that's why I'm taking the truck 2 shows not there. They want real. They want them to see you that you're real. They don't want they don't want to see that you're, you know, letting on that you're driving a truck or a tractor or whatever. They want to see real, you know.
But I think that's the selling point, and I think again this is what we were probably going to go more into Marty if we end up doing this. Well, like, but if but we were saying that is the fact that you know what I mean, because you've done it. It's not like, again, like you know, somebody else singing about a thing that you know full well somebody wrote it for him or whatever. But I love that you'd rock up to say, like the ploughing championship. You must be inundated. Like you must be the Michael Bublé of country music when it comes to the ploughing championship.
The ploughing championship is a whole different level. So the more you learn about business, like you think of the ploughing championships, and I was like, you know, 100,000 people today, 300,000 people in the 3 days. This is simple. You know, oh, this is great. This is right. But then I realized that when you're meet and greeting, so I was giving out this wee single, you know, like a wee promotion thing, and I realized that as hard as you can go when you think about it. Hello, how you doing? Sign the CD, whatever. Like, I mean, I was pinned at the front of the lorry last year. It was like Spain. It was like 21 degrees for 3 days. It was like never witnessed the like of it. Spain, born alive, completely red, pinned at the front of the lorry. And the marker was holding the sign and started to mark the whole front of the grill, because when they'd come in and attack you, you'd be jammed in again in the front of the lorry. And when I was finished, the whole new paint job in the lorry was completely covered in permanent marker, you know. So, but I realized you can only meet about 2,500, 3,000 people a day. So, hello, how you doing? Sign this, get a photograph. Yeah, thank you very much. And then you move on to the next person. But about 3,500. So it is like at the ploughing championships, it's just absolutely, you know. And then a funny thing can happen too. To see crowds will follow crowds. So I was at the ploughing one year, and these sort of girls come over, and these two girls goes, I want a photograph. I goes, no problem, get a photograph. But all these other group of ones, young fellas and girls, come running over and got photos. And next thing they went away screaming, you know. And so next thing they were away screaming. Somebody goes, who's that there? And they goes, I don't know, but I got a photograph with them. You know what I mean? It's like once the buzz is there, people just love it. They love the buzz, you know. Love the buzz of it. Doesn't matter who you are or what the hell you're doing. The crack's good. Everybody else seems to be looking forward to it. The hell with it, it's all good, you know. So that's the kind of a buzz. The ploughing is so intense. It's like 100,000 people passing. You know, a pad friggin', you know, 20 foot wide or 20 meters wide. You know, big massive pads full of people. It's mental. You know.
I was hosting a thing at it not last year, the year before, and I'd forgotten because I went as a young fella. And sure, all you're going to do is looking at all the tractors and all the rest of it. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What an operation, that fucking thing. Oh my God. But I knew, I could only imagine what your experience is like, because I knew a fella, now he'd be up your neck of the woods actually. He owns Red Rock. Do you know the trailers?
Oh, very good. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
And, but he was even in it, and he's now an older chap, and he was standing there going,
yeah,
who are all these people queuing up to ask me questions about things like, but lads, and then all of a sudden, because a queue formed, a huge queue formed, because people are going, I don't know what we're queuing for.
Exactly, yeah. And that's how it grows, you know. And then people, you know, that mightn't even like the song, maybe then you could just give them a CD and say it, and just be nice to them. They're a fan the next day. You know, so the way it works is in the thing, if in the business, even if you're on stage and somebody comes in and goes, oh, this person's after coming in late, and you give them a bit of attention, they're going to love you, whether they like your music or not. That's how it works. So there's a big thing. It's a wee bit like Big Tom, say, here from Castlevania, you know, when Big Tom is alive, you know, people loved him, you know. If they love the person, they'll automatically like your music, you know. So a lot of it's got to do with the person as much as that, you know. There's a bigger thing, being genuine, singing about what you know, and being genuine and nice to the people, you know. So that's really, you know, it's kind of, you know, but they are like the fellas that's in the agriculture, they are hardcore, like they are like, so like when they come up to you and they throw you a line, you know, you have to be fit to finish the line, you know. It's sort of like, what do you think of such a tractor? And then if you finish it with, well, it's a good, but I'd rather say somebody goes, oh, I have a 3140 John Deere, and I'd say, well, I like the 3650 John Deere, you know. Oh, that's it. The connection, you know. Can you finish? Can you continue the conversation without stopping it there? You know, so that's the question, you know. So it's one of these kind of things, you know. So yeah.
So is it a dedication that I again, I'm not in the music business, and I don't, you know, so I didn't really understand it. I remember I was up at a mate's wedding it was just outside Dungan, a small town called Moy, and
yes, cool.
we were staying at the B&B because their wedding was out of the house. And I saw this, like, hundreds of people were pouring out of this. It was it seemed like a pub, but it was a music, there's a venue behind it.
Yeah.
And so, what's going on? Is it a wedding? Oh, no. Jimmy Buckley is playing. And like, Jimmy Buckley's from He's from like down home in Tip, like, and I was going,
yes, that's right.
Jimmy Buckley, and he put 500 people in a room here,
Jimmy,
you know.
Jimmy Buckley, I would rate nearly as the king. Like, Jimmy Buckley is like playing these years, full houses, you know, himself saying Mike Denver and people, you know, that I'm not calling you. Jimmy Buckley has a niche and he sticks to it. You know, I'm getting at. It's like he doesn't really veer off. You know, he's a certain following, he's a certain type of music, and he sticks to it. And the people flock to him. You know, very, very good. And Jimmy, as comedians go as well, Jimmy's a funny man. He's funny man. Oh yeah, I always thought he should have been a comedian as well. You know.
Well, I suppose we could tie it in, but yeah, even like we were back at the B&B the next morning, and it was the whole B&B was full of people going, "Where are you at, Jimmy?" Last night I was like, "Jimmy, what? What you mean, Jimmy?" And it was Jimmy. And then when they found out that I'm from about 5 miles away from him in Tip, they were like, but they named out about 6 or 7 Tip country music people.
And all know each other. Yeah, they all know each other, and it's a cool community. Yeah, the country music scene. It's a community of his own, you know. Yeah.
But you must have played, like, I mean, with 10 million views on one song, like, Jesus, you must have fellas in Hong Kong hitting the diff, like, you know what I mean?
It's
you know, like.
Yeah, it kind of is, and because of the new digital world, we can follow where all the streams are coming from, you know, and all this, and so lately, a wee while back there was a girl in singing, like, you know, she used the sort of sitting with the 2 courting things with a guitar in a shower, singing "Hit the Diff" and "Slip the Clutch." She was actually from Sweden, you know, and it's sort of on fire, you know, and she speaks in Swedish, but she's like singing the words "Hit the Diff" perfectly, you know, in English, you know, in English, and it's like, Jesus, this is, you know, and the people, you know, people's like, "Who's your one?" Like, you know, what's going on here? Like, she's from Sweden singing "Hit the Diff" in a shower, you know, with a guitar. And this is the kind of stuff that's going on. And for some reason, even the people, you know, that's another way I'm singing in Monaghan, Ireland. Like, you know, it's like, you know, owl heading for the tea and an old chain, and, you know, whereas it's hard enough to understand another language. Never mind, you know. You know, so I don't really know how that works in other countries. So it's mad that they can actually learn the English words, you know, and put that twist to them. You know what I mean? You know, learning the words one thing, but learning to say it them way is mad. You know. So
I only found it out. A mate of mine, he's a very successful podcast, but he's a conspiracy podcast, but he's from Wexford, and he says he says queer good. He says, like, but most of his downloads are in America and fucking Germany and stuff. I'm going,
yes.
I went, oh no, fucking, they'll catch up. He went, they catch up, and they actually love digging in, and they'll talk to each other in the comments section, going, what's he mean by? So I mean, you know it's doing well.
Yeah, and people love a mystery, like it's famous, and I always say it. It's we be like Stairway to Heaven, say Led Zeppelin, like, and they were like, what's Stairway to Heaven about, you know? And he was like, it's about whatever you want it to be about, you know? So they don't care. Like, if you say something like, you know, Hit the Diff, like, everybody asks me, oh yeah, love the song, and oh, Hit the Diff. Next thing again, and then they finish and they go, oh, what is a diff? You know? And I was surprised after a couple of years that people were singing away, and they were like, well, I don't really know what I'm singing about here. And like, what is a diff? Like, what is it? But it's, you know, and it's amazing that, you know, you're going around singing that, and I could be actually talking about anything, you know. You know.
But that was where my pride was coming from, because when we were talking about it before, he went, I don't know. I love that song. And that sentence, I couldn't even dream of what that sentence means.
Yeah.
So I went, well, I think he means, because where we grew up, like, a lot of lads they wouldn't be shy of welding a diff, you know what I mean? Like, they was,
welded, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, Rose Green is just up the road from where I'm from, like, so drifting is big country down there, you know.
Oh yeah, welded, and as you said then in the podcast, it's a wee bit like, just need to watch the corners after you do weld it, you know. If you're going to take the corner, either sink it and take it right, or don't have to. It's either fully sideways or don't even bother trying, you know. That's the only 2 rules there after you do that.
Yes, I see the Plot Cottage studio behind you. Is that what you built?
I think.
You built the studio the whole lot.
Oh yeah, I built the studio. Yeah, so my own record label set up, and we do everything ourselves. Yeah, we do everything. My own studio, my own, do my own stock, all own everything. Yeah, everything. So it's great. Yeah, I love because during the virus I was fit to record away, you know, and every now and again I go out to mow the grass just to get that bit of a hit, you know. So so it was just like record a bit of drums, lawnmower, back in another bit of guitar, back out the lawnmower. So this is the way it was going on through the virus. Was great.
But that works out well, though. I mean, for yourself, because you'd imagine the likes of, I suppose, other artists who are just twiddling their thumbs, going, "What if I can't? What the fuck?" You can actually get stuff down.
Oh yeah, it's actually great. And sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, I seen jumping out of bed, idea comes into the head. You have to hit it straight away. It's like the grass, you know. You have to get to that studio and get it down, you know, because if you get up next morning, it's gone. That magic, it's gone, you know. So it is great. I think having your own studio. You know, Hosier recorded that famous album and his thing. David Gray, you know, White Leather was recorded in his own house. So it's sort of proven to people to record their own. It's sort of has got that wee bit more magic than, you know. I wouldn't say it's got better production, but I'd say it's got a magic which is more important than production, you know. So,
I'm with you, yeah. Almost like an Abbey Road vibe going on there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of, you know, something, yeah.
So tell me this: where's the? I have to ask anybody who's in the performance. What's the weirdest kind of gig you've ended up doing where you're going, am I meant to be here? You know. I mean, it probably happens less and less now. Like, obviously, like.
It's funny. That's the thing. It's when you get into it, yeah. The more you do, the more it doesn't seem as weird, you know. But I do remember when I got a call to play at Crow Park, you know, in between two football final at half time, you know, and I was standing in the middle of the pitch playing to 65,000 people, you know, and in the middle of it, but you're using like in-ears like this, you know, in your ears, and it's just like you're standing in a pump house, you know, didn't feel, but the crowd was all singing and all, and it was so big that it was like one of them moments where you go, what am I at, or how did I end up in the middle of Crow Park? So things like that, yeah. Weird gigs, a lot of weird gigs. Ended up playing some very strange, you know, wee lorry and car trailers, and just, you know, some emails be promising you the world, you know, when you land, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing like they said, you know. So yeah, very, very, very strange.
Well, I suppose the only thing with you, I mean, if you land on with the truck and you've maybe a curtain side or whatever, you go, sure, look it, I'll just play away in this if this thing isn't set up.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the thing. You have to get like that. You have to get that. Well, the show must go on, whether it's comfortable or not, you know. So one of the weird gigs was in Birmingham in England. We went out to do a gig one time, and we lands out, and it was after being, remember, it was last year. One of the years was scorching. It was the year before last, scorching weather for I don't know many days, and so they set up this big and massive grain field, or you know, it was all cut out. The whole lot was done. It was a massive field, but they never put a bar in with a roof or not, and it was a big court inside her. Well, that night, thunderstorm started, and we were standing on the trailer, and I'm not calling you, the cold and the rain and the equipment that were just, I said, I'm going to be fried here, you know. And people stayed, but the bar was open. There was no tents, no cover on anybody really. And I have to say, in the middle of just nowhere on this big lorry trailer, and the wind blowing across the mountain straight up into the front of the trailer as we were playing. And I just went, this is, you know, after probably 3 months of scorching weather, as soon as we landed, the thunderstorm came with us, you know. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. You end up in some funny situations.
Have you the same traveling band with you all the time? Like, is it the same gang, or do you kind of rotate out?
Not really. Yeah, because I don't gig all the time, it be different bands. You know, some people like Jimmy Buckley, like we were talking about, he'd have the same band, keeps them in work 3 to 4 nights a week. That's it. It's like a conveyor belt, you know. For me, because I do my own recording and driving the truck and all myself, you go from one to the other. So if there's people available, you just sort of move and change about, you know. So yeah, it's handy enough, you know.
Did you play a wedding the other day, or am I imagining it?
Yeah. I don't know. For a friend, yeah, we gas spot went in and went in and sung "Hit the Diff," and then I have another wee song called "Better Than a Dream." It's a wee wedding song, you know. So it's doing well at weddings actually. So sung at the wedding. So this would happen sometimes, you know. If you have time, I don't do a lot of them, but you just land in and the people be there, you know, and to be all just, and next thing somebody go, oh, we're going to have a special guest, and I come up and grab the guitar with the band and go, oh, Mo and Lipton's, they lost their lives. Ties around the head,
on
the tables, and yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought had happened, and I could only imagine, because I just imagined that's you'd rocked in, you jumped straight into the song. But I can only imagine if you had the band and you're the lead singer and you're giving it loads, and they're going, I think they're enjoying this. By the way, Marty Mone is coming up next to sing with my band.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome, Marty, to the stage, and you come in and then drop the mic like a legend afterwards. Look at thanks.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny, and especially at weddings when you're doing. They actually created a dance, you know. So when you say hit the diff, they start stamping the floor like they're hitting the diff, you know, and grazing the nipples and all this kind of crack. And it's funny, you know, and sending Snapchats. And when you mention drinking, they're doing. So at weddings, they always just start doing the dance to it. So they start acting out the words of the song, you know. So it's deadly, So it's like, you know.
I had no idea. There's a dance as well, like the Macarena. So
yeah. Especially that bit of it, yeah.
How many times have you seen stickers with different song titles of yours on the back? Because I've seen a car with 2, Slip the Clutch and Hit the Diff written on the back of a Jetta recently enough.
Yeah.
And in fairness, it was a rare Jetta. It was a GTI Jetta. I was like, no, tip of the cap to you, sir. Brilliant. Yeah, you wouldn't see too many of them around the place.
Very good. No, you would not, which is a fine machine, yeah. So it's kind of like hit the diff, slip the clutch, and then the song steer the rear. So as I already explained, it was kind of this wee 3-part series. I just said, but I've quitted that now. It's just any title can come into play, you know. But so basically, if you're coming, it doesn't happen in the cars, as you know, with the diffs or sort of automatic and all, and the crack in them. But the tractors and the lorries with the switch, you know, the diff switch, you know. So you're coming to like, you know, driving lorries, even the 8-wheelers used to do it. Like, but if you're coming, like say you're coming to a roundabout and you hit the diff. So the first thing is you hit the diff, and then you slip the clutch, give her a wee bit of a slip just to get the wheels flat, and then you steer the rear. So it was like a 3-part series of a lorry drifting on a roundabout. So hit the diff, slip the clutch, and steer the rear. So that ended at that. Yeah.
And then the blue lights come on after you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you have a Mark II, or am I imagining it?
I have a Mark II. Yeah. Mark II. Me and the brother-in-law owns it. So it was originally a 4-door, and we put it into a 2-door, which doesn't really worth it now when you do it. If it was original 3-door, now they're worth a few pounds. But there was a wee 1300 engine. We put a 1600 crossflow engine, twin Weber. But I think the rally ones are Pinto engines, you know. So it you know, if it was a 3-door Pinto, oh Jesus, oh yeah, should be worth a few pounds, you know.
There's a lad I know.
But she's still grand.
Yeah, there's a lad I know. He has a Mexico in the garage, and she has not seen the light of the day in 12 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Just goes out and just looks at it and just closes the garage door.
Yeah. Well, that's one problem I have. I always say there's certain places where paint needs to be wore off, you know. A lot of people I know, it's like, no, you can't touch it. You have to leave it immaculate. Don't look at it. Don't start it. Don't just me. No, if you have a digger, the balance weight needs to be wore of it, the paint, and up at the bucket. Most people's going to kill me for saying that, but it's not making money if them 2 part aren't wore. Like, you know, them 2 bits need to be wore clean off it, shiny, balance weight, and in it the dipper arm just wore away. That much stuff be moved, it's just gone, shiny. You can see yourself, use yourself as a mirror. So the cars to me is kind of the same. The trucks as well, like, because I do all my own show, if I go to a truck show, you can't really polish and meet and greet and sing and all this. So a lot of people pull you on it. You didn't polish the lorry. I'm like, do you want to polish it? I haven't time. But some people don't. Some people has to have it right, which I understand. I understand that too. Whereas I'm more keep it middling right, but a few areas let the paint wear away. If it has to wear, you know, if she's working, she's going to wear. You know.
I'm in absolute agreement with that. Like, there was that same company who worked for the lads were the golf course building crowd. All the lads. Now, when you're getting into that finer detail stuff, especially the lads that do the shape and that, you know, because they have the bucket that can go up 360. You know, they can.
Yes.
But these lads, and your man was constantly bringing stuff back from England. The lad with the truck, and it was little filler paint for the weight at the back. You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
And they'd be Caterpillar colours, Hitachi colours, and you're like, lads. Who gives a shit? You're in the middle of a 300-acre field. Nobody can see you, like, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's mad. And the rules that we had, you see, when we were younger, was like, the two things is like, you know, keep the radiator blew out, you know, keep the fuel to it. But there's certain mechanical parts, I'd go mad if they weren't looked after. You know, I'm getting at. Whereas some people, they'd love painting the digger, but they wouldn't really blow out the radiator or, you know, change the oil or do it. But if you're working long hours, you know, it's like, keep the mechanicals right. Keep all them things right. You know, keep everything that, you know, she's working right. But when it comes to wearing the paint, let the paint wear. You know what I mean? When she's done, she's going to be, you know, you're going to know she was out today, you know?
Yeah.
So, it was one of them things, because with Dunkel, it was just, you know, if you come back into the yard, you know, say 8 o'clock of Saturday evening, you know, just make it the day off now. The first thing you were said, are you broke down? You know, are you broke? You'd say, you know, and you'd say, no, I'm not broke. I was going to maybe quit for a couple of hours, you know. So that's how he got around sort of saying, you know, you shouldn't be back here yet, you know. So, you know.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer, and I'll tell you this one, and this is a story that'll make your skin crawl, but I think it links in exactly what you're talking about, that how a fella couldn't. Jesus Christ, there's certain aspects of being a man, I think. And it applies to women too, but at the same time, I remember I knew a chap, and he specialised in high-end kind of supercars and stuff when he was a mechanic, you know. Same fella, to talk to him, you think he only worked on fucking wheelbarrows, but he is the man to go to if you have a Ferrari or whatever. And I was up with him one day. He worked on my old Passat, so it was sound. Right. I think it was more of a novelty to work on my old Passat, you know. So I was up there one day, and this fella comes in. Now, he came with the tow truck. He sat up in the tow truck with this fella. He did a 6-month-old Maserati. Ferrari engine in this thing. And he'd seized the engine in it. He hadn't driven it in 3 months, so something had perished. Pissed oil all over the road. Oil light came on, and still drove the cogs out of it, and managed to seize the Ferrari engine. And he said this with a kind of, aren't I gas? And I looked at him and the two of us looked at him with such disgust. And even your man said, man, I'd move fucking country if somebody found out that I seized the engine.
Exactly.
On a car.
No, you can't. That's the thing. So most fellas, you know, there's hardcore, you know, real rainy day comes in, you know, so you have to be sort of trained as a mechanic and a welder, and, you know, so you get the wet day, so you're after walking around the clock, you know, so sort of in the sound, the thing coming back to Christmas. So it's no good. You're meant to be fit a bracket and also fix it. You know, you have to be driving hard enough to bracket, but you have to be then fit it on the rainy day into the shed and fix it. So that's the test. Can you bracket and fix it all in the one day? That's the question, you know. So it was like you said, if something broke, next thing I often seen this happening, you know, somebody would come through a gap and break something, but, you know, like that, you can't let the lads know I'm after taking the side of the trailer, you know.
Shame.
No, so home that night, now you've only got a couple hours off, but home that night, and you get into the shed, you get the welder out, you weld it, get the paint, you fix whatever's broke, put on the white lights again, rewired, and back out the next day. Are you okay? No, I don't know what you're talking. That's the yoke scran. You work all night, 8-team job. 8-team, get the gang in, get her fixed, back out the next morning. Make sure you're there. Next morning, fixed, gone again. Yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah.
The amount of times I've done shit like that, so the old lad wouldn't see, or the uncle, like if they cut, like, what kind of a clown are you, like pulling the head? You know? That's it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It has to be. You have to be fit. If you're fit a bracket, you should be fit to fix it. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah.
that has. I know you weren't only going to do a trilogy, but that might be just the pièce de resistance. If you're fit to break it, you're fit to fix it.
Yeah.
That's a great title. Like.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So.
But so tell me this. I won't take up too much more of your time. You have on my birthday, this coming Monday, because this will go out on Friday. You have a brand new song coming out, don't you?
It's a song called U-Turn, and it's basically about life on the road. It shows you a lot of behind the scenes, behind the stage. The fans are really loving this behind the scenes. So it's coming out. So it's sort of showing. I've got the truck trailer painted and all, so it's showing the whole life on the road with the truck. It's showing behind the scenes, the sort of the studio. It's sort of showing a Marty Mone sort of working week at the minute, you know. But at Christmas now, right after Christmas, I have another wee kind of back to the agricultural, back to the military agricultural. Do you know what I mean? Round the clock, dust, smoke, grass. So there's a weed song coming out. This song, well, the video especially is taking a whole new angle to it. So hopefully now, maybe after Christmas, maybe January, we'll get that out. So a lot of the fans in agriculture will probably listen to this. So there's something coming their way now at the minute. So it's another wee bit of an agricultural tune, you know. So now I don't think it'll ever be another Hit the Diff, but the video, just let's say it's taking another angle to the thing. But so it'll show you what happened during the lockdown when you had a bit of time in your hands. But so the new song's out this Monday, and we're after actually launching the jersey there tonight. A Hit the Diff jersey for the ploughing. It's a big Hit the Diff, the big Deutz tractor wearing through the gate. Yeah, so it's all pretty mad. Yeah, so it's after we launch there tonight there. Yeah, so. Yeah, so it's all good. So it's all systems go.
You don't see enough Deutz on the road anymore, sure you don't?
No, they're sort of coming in a wee bit now. Yeah, so way back in '82, my uncle, he bought a DX90. Now this thing in '82 had fully glass doors.
Stop.
You know, which is in '82 a Deutz DX90, and there were serious tractors to grip. You know, and he bought a Komatsu PC 120 digger, and it had a digital DAS, 1980. Right, at that time all those around was Hymax, right?
Who was he? Fucking Marty McFly. Christ almighty.
So it was Bennett brothers, the uncles, 3 uncles, and in 1982, so it can be looked up. It was a Komatsu, I think 81, 82, say, or 1980. So them 2 yokes in their day, you know. So it's a kind of mad. So that's the kind of planted. It was just coming in that time, you know, of this. But since that day, the whole plant has just went straight to the roof. So this is why this wee video I'm doing at Christmas is taking another angle to it, because the amount of videos out there at the minute of top end plant is unbelievable. Oh, it is. Seen a video the other day, curtains in the tractors, lights, basically trucks. There'll be none up like trucks. I mean, top end, and they're cool. I have to say that. I wouldn't be giving out if I had them, but it's there's that many videos these days out of it. It's very hard to make a video that stands out, you know.
Well, this is it. I mean, the likes of the Grassmen and stuff, like they've got drones and stuff going up in the air, and Jesus Christ.
But some of the outfits is just, you know, I heard of a fella that sold a farm of land there, and so he sold a big massive farm, just like you were saying, winning the lotto. But he bought a silage outfit, like, you know, they could spend every money, you know, and he's loving it. Like, he's making it work. But some other man was going, Jesus, if you had just left that in the bank, interest, you know. But no, if you love it, you love it, you know, and that's,
And it is funny that they're almost religious to what people are to certain machinery. You know what I mean? Like herself's parents, God bless her, we have a little fella, he's just one. And you can see, even she's from Dublin originally, and her parents are very much Dublin people and stuff. But you can see heritage. This young fella just has culture running through him, like, and they got him a little tractor because they went, look, he's a little country, and they got it. It was a miniature class, so green class.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
But it's so funny. My father comes up and he went, "Oh, they're happy enough to go with an old class, were they?" I said, "He's one. It's a plastic fucking tractor." He went,
You know, if you're buying a tie, oh Jesus, that's like GAA in it. You're getting the football territory there. Do not follow the certain teams. You do not follow. You know, if you're coming into this house, with a tie, it has to be the right tie, and that's it. Like, do you know what I mean? It can't be. Make sure it's the right name on it, or that's it. You know.
Gonna have to get John Deere stickers for it, because it's the only thing. Well, no, Massey or John Deere would Massey, I suppose, all day long, but. Jesus Christ, to see the way he looked at it, was like, oh, sure, look, Ashley wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. Like, I'm like, nobody knows. What are you talking? Almost, there's a very niche amount of people that know. He goes, but they know. Because, you know, and you're like, my old lad's more from, well, he had a small contracting outfit years ago, all right, himself, but he'd be more the dealer kind of crowd, like with the dealer boots and the cattle and shouting and roaring and that kind of stuff. But Marty, this has been an unbelievable pleasure. I swear to God, this podcast is going to explode come Friday. The amount of blue-collar lads that we have listened to this out here and abroad, they're going to be absolutely loving this.
Well, fair play to them, and I just want to give them all a big shout-out. Fair play to you lads and ladies. Fair play to you all, and I really appreciate all the support. And as I said, there is a couple of tunes coming out, more driving tunes, and I just want to say thanks to them all. And you know, and make sure and take at least 1 hour per day off, you know, in the 24-hour clock, you know.
To fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, to fix whatever you broke. Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks a million, Marty. Cheers, man.
No bother, Tom. And thanks very much, Tom. And fair play to you. You've done the best explaining it yet I heard so far. So good on you.